All right, district breakdown time, and we have my man Jon Poorman from the Houston Chronicle. Jon, we're talking 9-5A Division II. We always talk about Fort Bend Marshall and usually everybody else, but we got a team in this district that made it to the state championship game, and it wasn't Marshall. So it seems to be a little bit more powerful than maybe I gave it credit for last year. Talk about what you think about the 2023 season with this district.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, Port Neches Groves is the reigning state runner-up. They made it all the way to the championship game before losing, but that was the top team coming out of this district in the playoffs last year. They beat Fort Bend Marshall. I believe it was in the third or fourth round of the playoffs there. And so that was a rematch from an earlier game that Marshall had won earlier in the season. So, they were the undefeated district champions. And Marshall still has quite a lengthy district winning streak going on heading into the 2023 season. I think that once again, it's going to come down to these two teams. Port Neches Groves obviously had an amazing postseason run and got some magic going there in the playoffs, but make no mistake, Fort Bend Marshall is going to be back. They've got, plenty of great athletes down there. They have to replace some key pieces on both sides of the ball, notably quarterback Jordan Davis, who stepped up as a senior and really played well. Receiver Jacoby Banks, who's now at the University of Houston. But they have some other guys on that side of the ball. I'm looking at a couple of wide receivers, Andre Feast and Caden Ferguson, who are already garnering Division I offers. They're going to be juniors in the fall. And then running back Jonathan Hayes also got some valuable experience. So it might come down to, who's going to take over that quarterback spot and replace Davis. And then, on the defensive side, they lost guys like Jordan Sample and Trent Thomas and Zach Chapman. Those are not easy guys to replace, but, coach has done a great job down there and building this program into a district title contender every single year.
You said, and I think we're in agreement with those two teams being at the top, but do you see any surprise teams with the rest of that district that may make a push and maybe get a playoff win or two?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking kind of here at Dayton and what they've been doing, the past several years under Coach Blake Ware. They went 7-4 last year. They graduated some key pieces on the offensive side of the ball, but they've really developed that program over there and are kind of on the rise. And then I look at Texas City. I feel like every year Texas City doesn't get a bunch of love, but they always seem to end up with like 7 or 8 wins in the regular season. And, obviously they like to have a little bit more postseason success, but, I think that they've got perhaps the best, one of the best, if not one of the best players in the district coming back with running back Caleb Bell. He's put up back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, so he's going to be a big-time playmaker coming in as a senior for them as well.
Yeah, and you take a look at Caleb's Twitter, and I always get worried about these kind of guys that year after year they're saying, I'm underrated and I'm going to prove it this year, and they usually do. So a guy with a chip on his shoulder may actually be able to put up some serious numbers to prove himself in this district. Well, I appreciate you joining us this week, Jon. We're going to talk 10-5A Division II and that upstart Lake Creek team next week. So I can't wait to visit with you next week.
Yeah, that should be a fun one for sure.
All right, Jon. Thank you.